Hey, I'm Chris Anderson, artist on American Caper, along with David Lapham, and you are listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Subdued, but I guess we'll take it.
He's still in his president of the association mode.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, let me loosen the tie. Sorry.
I think it would kill. Well, I shouldn't say this. I would do very bad things to myself if I ever were in that position. The way where they voted you in as president, like. Stop. I don't care, but you do. You care. Me as a person, I can't think of anything too much worse than president. I would rather have a root canal.
No. I mean, there's only so few people here. I'd like to have a close-knit community. I'd like to have us, neighbors helping neighbors. It's not
You care.
Friends helping friends, baby.
Yeah, you care.
I don't.
Yeah.
If this was a 200 plus
Look at him
apartment
being
complex.
a human being. I know it's hard for Vince to understand.
It is. It's tough for me to understand, but we hope you understand this, because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, 1044, and I am Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am President David A. Price.
Oh, yes, sir. And, of course, I am Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, you're not Michael Fassbender. I like you more. You're Jason Wood, everybody. But
I wish I had his abs, though.
Yeah, well, no, not really. Brought to you
He's got
by...
great abs.
There's more to life than great abs.
Like there are, but I would still like to have his abs. I mean, dude's got he's like Mario. He's got a six pack. Respect.
CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com.
Before you get into your soliloquy on the cheap graphic novels,
okay,
I want to right up front tell you that that owner, founder, and patron of said cheap graphic novels, Mr. Max, pinged me yesterday laughing because I a few weeks ago was talking about he going on tour with his band with his lovely wife, and he wanted to make the point that is in fact not his lovely wife. That is a lifelong friend, his best friend. And I was like, thank you for letting me know. I will update the world. So
there we go.
There you go.
There you go.
You say you want an omnibus edition or an epic collection or DC's finest, maybe a trade paperback collection, some manga, maybe an art book. Where do you go? You go to cheapgraphicnovels.com because you will pay pennies. I'm being facetious, but you will pay far below list price for these things. In addition to the rotating seasonal sale and the ever-present Nick Not, imagine the parentheses, indent not sales, they have specials at Cheap Graphic Novels as well.
They do. Do have specials. Okay. There's a little behind the scenes there. I guess
maybe she got a special. She got something very special.
Someone's getting their ass whooped. So we have, to start off, DC Finest, Suicide Squad, the Nightshade Odyssey trade paperback for $23.99. They're expendable, deniable, and deadly. When covert missions demand results without accountability, Amanda Waller, Vince's favorite character, sends in Task Force X, the Suicide Squad. In this explosive collection, the squad faces betrayal, black ops, and a descent into the supernatural as Nightshade's past comes back to haunt them. DC's Finest Suicide Squad, The Nightshade Odyssey collects Suicide Squad numbers 11 through 20, Annual number 1, The Doom Patrol and Suicide Squad Special number 1, The Flash number 12, Manhunter number 1 and 6, Justice League International number 13, Deadshot numbers 1 through 4, Checkmate number 1 from 1997, and Checkmate number 8 from 1988. This volume dives deep into the morally gray world of Task Force X, where villains are forced to serve the greater good or die trying. As the squad battles drug cartels, Russian prisons, and supernatural threats, Nightshade's personal demons threaten to unravel the team from within. We also have Pet Peeves, the graphic novel for $13.56. In this horror graphic novel, the new dog that aspiring musician Bobby has adopted is cute, but also stealing her life. Bobby's life is going nowhere fast. She's working at a bar, wanting to play music, but never having the time nor energy. The only bright spot is her dog, always cheerful, always cuddly, and always there for her. As the relentless day in, day out of work piles up, music and roommates and social plans begin to seem less and less important as Bobby struggles to make rent and have any time to be creative. The only thing she has time for outside her job is her dog, and her dog is going to do everything he can to keep it that way. This debut graphic novel from breakout author Nicole Gao explores the struggles of a young artist haunted not only by debt and society, but by more sinister, though adorable, canine forces. And that's spelled G-O-U-X, in case the mispronunciation is wrong. Zorro, Remastered Edition hardcover for $34.99. Alien Books and Zorro Productions, Inc. proudly present a deluxe remastered edition of the complete Zorro, published by Gold Key Comics through 66 and 67. This special 256-page hardcover book will feature completely restored artwork by Alex Toth, Russ Manning, Warren Tufts, and more, and new, vibrant coloring in a contemporary reinterpretation with modern aesthetics that remains faithful to the original presentation. A collector's dream edition of a timeless classic. This will also include an exclusive story written by comics icon Howard Chaykin and superstar artist Eduardo Risso, now available in color and in English for the first time. And those are your specials from cheapgraphicnovels.com.
Yep, Deb said it. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Where do you go where the prices are low? Cheapgraphicnovels.com. I'm silly.
What are you angling to get a job on the band?
I would love it.
I know.
Yeah. I would love it. I would tune the guitars.
Aww.
They would never, ever be out of tune.
I bet.
Yep. But I am imbibing.
What are you imbibing?
Well, you've said it so many times. I think I've had it before. It is a Cabernet Sauvignon from California. The year is 2023, and it is vinted by Gnarlyhead.
Oh, Gnarlyhead, yes.
Yeah, and it is
they're
delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Well done,
full-bodied.
sir.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Yes, it is.
It's delicious, and let's see what it says on the bottle. Gnarly vines aren't pretty. The twisted grapevines that give our wine its big, bold flavors have struggled and survived by digging deep. That's where the good stuff is, at the edge of what's possible. So, hyperbole aside, it's really tasty.
Love it. Love to hear
Yeah.
it. I too
Yep.
am in drinking. Are we done? I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I too am drinking the vino. As I mentioned to you guys before we started recording, it was quite the day. Your boy took some L's today on the old P&L. It was more like L. No, not much P, a lot of L on the P&L today. So I'm treating myself. I am drinking a wine from Gary Farrell. For those that don't know, Gary Farrell is kind of an interesting situation. It's sort of an omnibus line of small batch wines that are all from the Russian River Valley, and they kind of like take different small vineyards that like pair really well or have really great harvests in a given year, and then they market those. So like each year their underlying vineyards are different, but like this particular one is the Gary Farrell 2022 Bajagaloup Vineyard Pinot Noir. And in terms of the tasting notes, Vince, because I know you're always interested in that, it's a Pinot that leans into the famed Bajagaloupi Vineyard signature charm with a highly aromatic, stern, kissed nose of bright red fruit, fresh bay leaf, and subtle woodsy tones, echoing the floral lift and earthy nuance of past vintages. On the palate, it's surprisingly light and understated. Soft energy, gentle texture, and an easy drink-now feel that proves this is the bottle you open when your wine-loving friends stop by and you want to casually impress without making a big deal about it. And it's phenomenal. It's delightful. I assume Beth's going to be mad that I drank it without her, but c'est la vie. And unlike your reasonably priced bottle, this is not for the faint of heart. This is a reasonably expensive bottle.
So I can run down to the wine place and get this? Like,
depends on the wine place.
Yeah, I don't think they have it.
I mean, Route 14 liquor, probably not.
Yeah.
Snooty McDuty's House of Wine, maybe. I don't know. You have to see.
I swear they have one person chained to a busted, crumbling word processor that knocks out every one of these.
I assume they're written by AI now. I mean, I assume this was not. This is a few years ago, but I assume now they just all are getting written by ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's I'd rather.
No, but I assume, right? Like, I assume they have someone on the vineyard being like, they like bang out like 10 of them real quick on. I assume, but who knows?
There's something wrong with that.
Yeah,
but
there's about three different. Well, no more than that, but of the various liquor stores within the area, a couple of them are within walking distance. A couple I'd have to drive to, but very few. I mean, they do have some of the same bottles, but there are some places where I can only get certain wines because obviously it's all based on the distributor and what they can carry. So yeah, I mean, Vince, yes, probably depending on where you go, you might have a fancier place in Scranton that does carry Jason's wine. You might right next to the hot dog stand. But
there's a security guard sitting by the door.
Well, we have a bit of an existential crisis going on because there's probably like 15 liquor stores in the area that I consider within reasonable driving distance. But the one that I go to 99% of the time is called Gary's, and they have very high-end wines and other delightful things as well. But Gary's just got acquired and is now closed for the foreseeable future as they do remodeling, and so it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
I feel for you. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, Beth and I were saying we might have to head back out to Napa and just go direct.
It's the easiest way
how do you say bougie without saying bougie?
Right? It's like, instead of driving all the way around Jersey, let's just fly out there. Anyway.
Anyway.
This is like Vince. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon. Although it's a year off, it's from 2022. This is 1,000 stories bourbon barrel aged, and unfortunately, they put small black script writing on a maroon burgundy label, so it's not the easiest to read. But America's bourbon barrel aged wine from charred barrels that once housed fine Kentucky bourbon.
Look at that.
Has now been repurposed to age this wine, and it's not as bourbon forward as some of the other wines when this trend was first coming out a few years ago. It's there. It's not a super fruity, sweet red. The bourbon, the barrels is definitely kind of tamped down a little bit and gave it a slightly tweaked flavor profile, but it's good. I will finish this glass and oh crap, I left my water downstairs, so I will be sipping on this for a while.
Just run it back for a second glass. It's a long night ahead.
Or a third. Or drink the whole bottle. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
no,
That's what I'm saying.
the decanter's downstairs too. Like I can't.
Oh my
so-
God!
I
But
know.
So pause to the calls, tell us you got to pee, and then run down and grab the
Well,
decanter.
right, yes, but see, I can't. Unlike you guys, I can't pause because it picks up the chime since I'm recording it. So it's
You
I'm
can.
chained to my desk. I'm chained.
You-
Hit the
you
mute
can
button,
strip
go
it out.
grab the wine,
yeah.
I can never strip it out because I'm always talking.
but you can hit the mute button.
No, you save that stuff. You strip it out. Like it takes you 5 minutes. You strip it out and you put it in the extra stuff. But the people, the patrons on Slack, the patreon.com/11 o'clock comics, they would love to hear it.
Ding.
Love it.
By the way, speaking of patrons, shout out to Tim L and his lovely life partner.
Yes.
Last we heard, he was his baby was due. So we haven't heard an update. So fingers crossed, all is going well. But just a preemptive shout out of much love to Tim. I believe this is his first kiddo. So big
Babies
doing.
are the best. Babies
You
are
love the
best.
babies, dude. You love.
I
babies.
love the babies.
Can I keep it 100? I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't think babies are all that great.
Whatever.
No. Like I get and I may feel differently with the grandkid because like obviously like you're coming at it from the granddad vibe, and I'm super excited to be a grandparent. But like, I remember babies I was like, they're amazing, and you have huge love in your heart. But like, I also remember feeling stressed, like in the sense that they're like, I'm talking about your kids. Again, the grandkids are probably different because you've been through the whole rigmarole.
Not really. Yeah.
But
not
like
really.
just the fragility and the constantly worrying that they're like okay and happy and
Yeah, I'm a little worried that I'm going to piss off my daughter, but other than that, I've always been a baby person.
but the fucking like to me like 3 to like 6 or 7, forget it. Like when they're like not old enough to have their own opinions and attitudes and they're just fucking pure joy and they just I could eat that up. Eat that
Yeah,
up. The
babies.
toddler years were fun. The toddler years were super fun.
All right, let's talk about comics.
Do we have to?
Yeah, that's why they tuned in.
I
Okay.
have a thank you real quick.
Oh, respect.
So Clay, who's a listener, slid into my Instagram DMs and let me know that he's got a couple things that might strike my fancy, and I was extremely intrigued, and I knew about a couple of them, but I received the envelope today, and there was more than just what he had shown me initially, and these are 5 issues of Amazing Heroes. I had at least 3 of these in the past. But I have issue number 93, which has a special look at Jack Kirby's Demon. This is Jason's favorite issue, but it's because it's about the Matt Wagner miniseries. So it's got a beautiful Matt Wagner cover. So that's one. Amazing Heroes number 66, which is a look behind the scenes at DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, as well as issue 91, which is a special post-crisis issue. With an awesome George Perez cover. Actually, both of these have George Perez covers. Issue number 108, which is, sadly, or unfortunately, beginning this issue, reviews by Gerard Jones. But this cover is by Dennis Cowan and Pat Broderick, because it's The Question and Captain Atom Reborn, because it's following DC's acquisition of Charlton and the launch of those books. And finally, issue 96, which I cannot believe I own again. It is from June 1st of that year, the beautiful John Byrne cover of Superman, and that's the headline, John Byrne Superman. So that's what this issue is about. So thank you so very much, Clay. I cannot wait to dig in and reread and read for the first time a couple of issues. But shout out to Clay and to Amazing Heroes.
Very nice.
Yeah. The Slack fills me with joy. It really does. But
Every day.
I love how you become the Swamp Thing guy. It's like, wait a minute, Dap likes Swamp Thing. Dap doesn't love Swamp Thing. But you have become Swamp Thing guy. And it's like, how did this happen? Where did this come from?
How did that happen?
Yeah. How did it happen? I could see you being the Demon guy. Or the Lobo guy. Or the Superman guy. Yes. Yeah.
True.
But the Swamp Thing guy? Doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I don't even think he's read much of the Alan Moore Swamp Thing, right?
But he's the Swamp Thing guy.
How am I
I'm saying, but that's interesting because I think of this in terms. Am I wrong, Dap? I forget. You feel like you haven't read a lot of it.
I haven't read every Alan Moore issue. I've read a smattering here and there. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the Swamp Thing. I appreciate that Len and Bernie created the character, and that Alan, of course, took it to where no one ever expected it to go, and all the creators following Alan and the wild history the character has. I didn't read the Ram V stuff. I haven't read anything in recent years until they finally brought back the Beach stuff. But yeah, no. To your point, Jason. No, of the three of us, I read the least amount of Swamp Thing.
Mr. Swamp Thing over here.
But he's the Swamp Thing guy.
How the hell did I become the Swamp Thing
Listen,
guy?
Riz is Riz. You can't. It is what it is.
Yeah, they love Dap. They hate the assholes. So I'm in that category. But let's talk about comics.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we can collaborate on this because we all read it.
Uh-huh.
It's on all of our lists.
Look at that.
It's in all caps.
Yeah, it is.
And it was nestled trivia. Initially, he was called what?
Mask.
Not
Oh, well,
no.
it was in the mask.
Initially, he was called COBOL for the programming language. Yes, but
I didn't know that actually.
the CEO
Oh, that's
at
right.
Park Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah, the CEO at Park Brothers said no, it's
We
not
want read
gonna
only
work.
memory instead.
Yes, nestled within the blind bag copies of Mask #1 was, and aside from variant covers of Mask #1, was Rom #1.
Yeah.
Yes,
going to- I honestly thought, because I didn't see anybody flipping through it when they opened the blind bags, I honestly thought it was just a ROM cover. It was a variant ROM
No.
cover on
me
the first
too.
issue of the
Which
Mask.
I thought was super weird because Rama has nothing to do with Mask, but I was like, all right,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was an
And-
actual ROM comic.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
awesome.
right. And if you want to, like, I have a hard and fast, well, not so hard and not so fast rule that I won't read digital, but getting my hands on this
Yeah.
issue of ROM is very difficult. So I've read the digital version of this.
Listeners,
Yes.
send Vince a copy of ROM. I know some of you have an extra. Let's make it
Yeah.
happen. Come on.
Some of them have many
Oh.
extras.
Okay.
But
All right.
whatever. I'll pay for it. I don't care. But it was written by Robert Kirkman with art by Lorenzo De Felici, which tells me, yes, it's confirmed in the back matter that Rom is joining the Energon universe and will appear in the pages of Void Rivals.
Almost.
Yeah, all four major creators are it's the Void Rivals team. It's Kirkman, De Felici, Lopes, and Wooten. Yeah.
Right, I was getting there. But
Okay. Take your time.
specifically, issue 33. But if you want to start the arc fresh, start with 32. If you don't already buy the book. I can't tell you how excited I am. The IDW stuff was okay. It was all right. the Micronauts, the ROM stuff, the Visionaries, they were okay, but there's something about this Energon version of ROM because it is and it isn't the ROM we know. It is the ROM we know, but there are things that he does not remember.
He's not the Rom we know.
He's an old and slightly busted version of what we remember.
Right, but he can heal himself.
Yes.
So in the right situation where he's not the poet at heart that he was on Galador, that it is the same ROM because he wants to help people, puts himself in harm's way to right wrongs. So it is the ROM that we know. But when this issue opens, he's in the clutches of someone called Kolgith the Devourer.
Basically a giant praying mantis like alien. Very cool.
Kind of, sort of. But Rom is looking worse for wear. He's missing one arm and one eye, and Kolgith sequesters organics and inorganics, and to the eye, Rom looks like a robot, right? So where you would think the robots go, what happens? But he meets a transformer. He meets Krenix. And Krenix is one of my favorite transformers because Krenix does not, for the most part, does not look like a traditional transformer. He's got that diamond-shaped head and weird. He's pink. What? Well, anyway, he thinks Kolgith thinks that Rom is inorganic, right? So he throws him in the robot cell, and he frees. Spoiler: it just came. Well, that didn't really just come out. Spoiler: he gets onto the cell through his friend and alien jellyfish type creature, Carpet.
Love it.
Now where Rom met Carpet is one of the question marks that this issue raises. Like, how long has Carpet been with Rom? What, he looks like the man with no name. Well, read the issue. I don't want to spoil it entirely, but he gets out of the room and Krenix goes on his way. But it's suitable that they use Krenix because Krenix is, I believe, the last of his line of Transformers, where Rom is, I don't know how the Energon universe is going to use it, but Rom and Marvel ends with the series proper. Like, there's a Space Knights series that I think was written by Jim Starlin that Brandy's in it, but Rom is not. Like, Rom is mentioned, but never by name, because at that point, Marvel did not have the license to use Parker Brothers Rom. But they created everything else. Bill Mantlo and company created everything else at Marvel. So Marvel could use those. The Space Knights were, I believe, if memory serves, they were 2 words, and the Marvel version was 1 word. I don't know. I'm waxing eloquently, or so I think. But he gets out of the cell. Rom put himself in danger to save children. That's what Rom would do. Rom saves kids. Rom and Gamera. And if you want to see more Rom, read Ford Rivals. But I thought everything about the issue rang true to me.
Well, that's great to hear because you were on my mind as I was reading it, thinking, I wonder what Vince is going to feel about this issue because obviously you have
Yeah.
Rom in your heart much deeper than we do. I thought it was great. I thought it really the beats were great. I thought when he gets his I don't know how spoiler we want to give it when he's given his device. Right?
Wow, that could only be one thing. There are two things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, and I appreciated Kirkman's little epilogue where he basically says, hey, full disclosure, Rom wasn't my guy growing up. I was a little too young for that. Like, I was obsessed with G.I. Joe and Transformers and Thundercats and that stuff. And, he's like, in Mask, and he's like, Rom was a little before my time, but I always thought it was cool. And so when I got a chance to bring him into the fold, it was fun, but it was a little daunting because I didn't have the deep historical knowledge of him the way I do some of the other characters. But, so I thought it was like, man, I feel like, he did. It felt to me like it did the character justice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like it when a creator admits they were wrong. Like, it's okay to like G.I. Joe, and it's even better to like Transformers, but not liking Rom, you failed. As a
he
kid,
didn't say he didn't like it. He just said he was too young. I mean, similar.
Well, he was too young.
Like we were like it's just I didn't like Rom was just shy of when I started collecting comics. So I just.
But he had a lot of time to right that wrong.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Yeah, but
he's been busy. I don't know if you noticed. He's been a busy dude. He's been.
Yeah, those billions of dollars. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to just sit down and read comics and make a podcast when you're printing money writing Walking Dead episodes. But I get
it. Stop. Yeah. But it's cool because maybe he did run up on this ROM because I thought the issue there wasn't anything about which to complain.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was it's a slight read. It'll take you about maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes to read. It's not that wordy. It's basically Rom in a cell and Mom not in a cell, and then it's over. But it's so good that it gives me hope.
nice.
I enjoyed it a lot. Having I what I like about it is that I felt as not lost. Confused isn't even the right word, but I felt like Rom because like he's not. He doesn't have everything together. Obviously he doesn't quite know what the collateral is used for. He knows dire wraiths exist or existed, but the fact that we were kind of just dropped in here, and here's Rom, now part of the Energon universe, and so the fact that there wasn't anything to catch up on, that there wasn't any sort of prelude to this or anything that was setting up, or even a previously. What he's been up to. There was no recap page, so I think that just us being thrown into this with the character went a ways for me with the issue. I thought it was a blast, and yeah, the fact that they similar to the way Kirkman just decided to end The Walking Dead, even though future issues were still solicited when he knew they were never going to materialize. There's another sneak attack like with this because people are just buying Mask issues, blind bagging it, and I don't know what the numbers were for Mask #1 pre-orders, bagged or not, and people are just buying blind bags, opening them, for the variant covers. But the fact that here's a completely different comic than what you thought you were buying, and I don't know how I'd feel if if I only bought one blind bag and I wanted to read the Mask #1 because it's a new series and I get a ROM #1.
Well, he did.
I mean, I'd be fine with it. I don't know.
Battle Beast. He did that with that Battle Beast. I
Well, what
bought
was-
blind bags and got 2 Invincible Spider-Man crossover.
Right. Okay.
Like,
right. So yeah. So that
excuse
Marvel
me.
team up issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is basically a reprint. So but you knew that yes, and that might have made somebody feel some kind of way because they weren't expecting an Invincible comic. But that comic exists and is out there. This was completely unknown. So yeah,
Over
it just
200,000 copies, Dap, of Mask Number 1.
that's how many were printed.
That was the first print, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's amazing that the ROM issue is better in every way than the Mask #1.
I agree completely. I mean, I agree completely. Yeah, I agree.
I do like Pai's art, so I mean that's one thing. But yes, no, story wise, and as far as the enjoyment I got out of it, and my attachment to the characters, I played with the Mass toys way back when. But yeah, I definitely have more of an affinity to our one-arm space.
Yeah, I mean, I much prefer De Felici's art, but yeah, but either way, it was great. It was it was a ton of fun, and I hope that it has the character has a cool arc in Void Rivals, which to me is the unsung hero of that line.
Well, I think the plan is to introduce him ROM in Void Rivals, but spin it out into his own series.
I would imagine, right? If
Yeah.
received well, yeah.
It's Kirkman, so
Yeah.
and he needs more money. So.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kirkman, we have a Kirkman-O-Rama because I also read another Kirkman #1 this week, a highly anticipated #1 at that, and that is Terminal #1.
Oh.
Now Terminal #1 is not just written by the Kirkman. It's also written by a guy who we used to talk about a lot on the show, but I feel like I don't know if he's just fallen off or he's been printing that Ben 10 money and just living his life. I don't know what's been going on, but this comic, Terminal, is written by Mr. Kirkman and Mr. Joe Casey, and it is drawn by Andy Kubert. We were just talking about the Kuberts, I feel like, a few weeks ago. This was a fascinating comic. As I was reading ROM, I was thinking, I wonder what Vince thinks of this. As I was reading Terminal #1, I was thinking, I wonder what Tony Fleece thinks of this. Because if there was ever a 2026 comic that was made for our boy Tony Fleece, it was Terminal.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Terminal, because of Kubert doing the art mainly, I mean, it looks and feels like a 90s non-Marvel-esque team book, right? Like extreme, like with it very much felt like I was reading an issue of Wildcats or Youngblood, like even the names of the characters were like pretty generic, and it's like, there's opposing black ops / quasi secretive organizations that know something about the world that most everybody else doesn't, and they both claim that they're fighting for the right reasons, but I'm guessing probably both have their own motivations, neither of which are all that altruistic. And where I will give them credit is we are introduced to the world in the form of an investigative journalist, a woman who is trying to find her sister who went missing many years before. And in her search, which has gone largely unrequited for years to the point where she's basically lost her job and everybody thinks she's just insane for continuing this quest, eventually gets pulled into the reality, including finding her sister. But it ends in a, at least for me, completely unexpected way, which I chuckled at, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. I like that they did this. This is fun. I think part of your enjoyment or not about this issue and series will be whether or not you love Andy Kubert as an artist. And I thought he looked good here, and in the sense that this book was designed in all ways to feel like a 90s Image comic book. And so in as much as like when Felice and Seeley did their thing with Local Man, like that look and feel and vibe and aesthetic and patois with the way everyone talks and like the scripting, that is nostalgic enough for me that if it's done well and I only get one or two of those at a time, I'm cool with it. not the kind of story I'd want like to be the baseline for comics that I read these days. But I thought it was very interesting. It was well executed. Like I said, I really liked the twist. It made me laugh. I don't think it was intended to make me laugh per se, but I thought it was funny. And I'll be back. I'll be back for the second issue. I know this book had a lot of hype behind it. I don't know like what everybody else is going to think of it. Like I said, it feels very not. I don't want to say dated, but it definitely feels like it's designed for a fan of a certain age. But I am said fan of said age, so I guess if it was aimed at me, I think it hit its mark. So yeah, so I dug it. I dug it. I don't know if either of you checked it out, but again, like I can't. I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna be on my 11 o'clockers, but I dug it. And I feel like Kirkman's on a bit of a heater right now. I feel like dude has been putting out a lot of good comics the last year or two.
I read it. I think I'll wait for the trade. I know I'm killing the numbers, but yeah, I thought it was.
To be fair, I read the comp copy that Skybound sent us.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm not helping the numbers either.
So I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was like I didn't race to the online ordering system and change my order to include it.
No, same. Yeah. I'm not, like I said, it's not like, and I think honestly, it coming out now helps. It helps for me. Just speaking for me, I can't speak to the broader audience, but my current disdain for pretty much everything Marvel's doing leaves a open space in my mind and heart for a superhero team book that, if Marvel was rocking in the same way DC's rocking right now, I may be like, oh, I'm good. I don't need another, complex team book. Like, I'd be like, I get that from the other guys. I don't need that from you. But like the fact that I can't, you could blindfold me in a room stuffed with Marvel comics and I still couldn't find one that I wanted to hold. I mean, I think it's well timed. Just speaking for me personally. So
Gambit's going through some stuff in Uncanny. I think you should read Uncanny.
I mean, I'm like I don't know, 4 or 5 issues behind.
Yeah, it's Gambit. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who gives a crap?
Damn.
Oh, yeah. What are you loving?
So wrong. I was trying to clear the deck. There were a couple things that I just wanted to finally either wrap up or at least comment on, whether or not anything really struck my fancy. So I mean, I caught up and read the last 2 issues of Batman Green Arrow: The Question Arcadia by Gabriel Hardman, which also had colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. It's a Black Label book. It evokes that Mike Grell, Denny O'Neil, late 80s, 1988 ish era, when these 3 characters would cross over with their annual stories, and it's Vic's age question, and so he's being his prickly journalist self.
Right,
Ollie is the right one. Ollie's dealing with some shit because he is in this story. He and Dinah, on again, off again, and it's off again. And I did not know though that, and I'd love to talk to Gabe about it, but this is the type of story where it's not set in continuity. It's not a canon. It's not canonical. It's its own thing, and all of that is made quite evident by the last few pages of the 4th issue, because Batman's identity is revealed. Well, the person pulling the strings is this whole. There's this not an eco-terrorist, but there's climate change is involved in this story. And there's another billionaire who thinks he can do right by the world, and he picks up on the fact that that hey, here's Bruce Wayne, and oh my God, all of a sudden Batman's here. Like, so it's kind of easy to kind of piece things together. But the story ends basically with kind of everybody knowing who everybody is. And there's a real neat moment where Vic loses the gas that releases the mask, and therefore he has trouble. Like, so everybody else is looking like everybody's kind of getting hungry. They're looking for food. My man can't even like eat. So he's probably waiting to starve to death, but he ends up cutting a slit so he can actually use his mouth. But I did not know that it was kind of going to just be the type of story that exists on its own, and it's cool. I don't mind that. Not that I had any preconceived notions going in, because it is a Black Label book and kind of anything goes with them. But I was pleasantly surprised at how it wrapped up. But there's a ton of action. It takes place in snow-capped mountains. It's a cold feeling book. Like, even reading it, like it the art team does a fantastic job of evoking the atmosphere and just the environment they're in and how you feel reading this. But it's extremely tense in spots, because since it is a Black Label book, and obviously now that I know that really it could have gone anywhere, I'm a little surprised that our heroes did survive the situation that they found themselves in. But there's it's timely in spots, as far as the rich trying to get richer and think that they know what's best for the world, and it was nice to see Ollie and Bruce at odds for the most part, as they always tend to be. But it was an entertaining read, and kudos to Gabriel for telling it. I'm looking forward to the hardcover. I also finished the Kyle Starks book, Devil on My Shoulder, which of course has the art by Peter Kowalski, colors by Brad Simpson. It's a really solid revenge tale. I talked about the first issue or so when it came out, and it's not exactly a very happy story. But the mentor, that are the priest that was basically training the young woman getting revenge. They have a pretty unique relationship, and he's dying. He's ill, and the church is probably going to look for someone to kind of pick up the mantle, take on the work that he was doing, and that's where she's going to come in. But a real solid revenge tale. Not a story to read if you're looking for the good in the world and anything bright and happy. But the art's fantastic, and you feel it's very much, I Spit on Your Grave. It's you're glad when people meet their fate, and the way it ends will, providing you're rooting for the right people, you'll at least get a smile on your face that way. But it is it's pretty grisly. It's Kyle pulls no punches with the language used in the story either. It's it can be harsh. And Narco, the 5th issue, came out last week, I believe. Was it this week? It may have been this week. So I won't spoil it. But the 5th issue, it wasn't light, but I felt like maybe it was kind of it sped through things a little too quickly. I think I'm not going to speak for Vince. I think we knew who was behind it early on, and because I don't think really Doug was kind of hiding that, and it all kind of pans out. But the fifth issue, especially the way the fourth issue ended, with our intrepid, with my man, damn it, what the hell, with Marcus was being framed at the end of the fourth issue. He had to do something. He went to go speak to the lead detective, only to find out something. He couldn't have that conversation with her, and he was being set up, and so he actually kind of adapts on the fly, changes the situation a bit so it's not so cut and dry, so he can't be arrested. The evidence that was set up to frame him was tampered with, so he's able to get away, and therefore the cat and mouse game kind of goes on for a bit, and but Marcus enlisting his friends, they come to his rescue, and it's just things just seem to happen a little quickly, and I don't recall plastic or vinyl or I don't recall the other minis kind of speeding through the last issue, kind of just to get to the conclusion. I kind of felt that way here. Still a cool story, great art, dug it, but I'm not going to rank my Wagner and Hillyard stories right now, but this one is not. This one, none of the others have to worry about being toppled by Narco. Still fun, but not the high watermark that their previous tales have given us. And then there was well, yeah. Other than that, a couple other things that here and there that I'll touch on later on, especially since I think we can team on the wrap up of Veach's Swamp Thing. Yeah. Other than that,
you can not spoil it, but
no,
you
we
can
will.
pump it up.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, and that's why. Yeah, I'm going to be very deliberate when we do talk about that, the issues 3 and 4. But yeah, I mean, I was catching up on Nightwing when that arc isn't over yet. And the same thing with the Forge, which I know Jason and I could talk about. But I did read the first Exquisite Corpses spin-off, Rascal Randy #1, which the art was the art's cool. I did dig the art. This, of course, is your creative team on Rascal Randy is Tyler Boss, is your writer, Dylan Burnett on art, and Jordie Bellaire does colors, and we get we're introduced to young woman Lily, who is it's her and her dad because mom's not around anymore, and so she goes to she's going to start work at a skate rink, but the kid who works there is getting bullied, and the shop's not even open yet, but he's basically strung up like a piñata, and the bullies are all going to fuck with him, but Lily turns the lights off and grabs a novelty mask and knife, and with the lights out and the neon lights and the day glow and everything like that, they freak out, and because she looks like a possessed serial killer, and they bug out, and so her and homeboy have basically just become super besties. They go to a nearby. Well, it's a bar, the Cottontail Bar, but it's owned by the kid's aunt, and so they kind of chat for a little bit. We get some backstory on Lily, on on her. They both have lost their mothers, so they have they have something in common, and there is a connection to Randy, to Rascal Randy, and because his because Homeboy's great grandfather is the creator of the character, and it just kind of goes from there. They strike up a cool friendship, but yeah, there is one of the bullies that was picking on the kid. Rascal Randy does end up meeting up with him, which doesn't the way, and he was swinging on a swing set when Randy catches up to him, and the what Randy does to this kid, wrapping him up with the swing chain and around the bar, it is wild. And yeah, so it's a bit of a mystery because you don't know who Randy's going to be. I'm still waiting for the Fox Mass Killer story. I don't know if this isn't a must read series for me, unfortunately, but it was neat to see it start, and I really did like Dylan's art in this. But yeah, I'm hoping that that this isn't going to. I'm hoping that all these spin-offs aren't going to water down the product and make any future tournaments lackluster compared to the series intro. But yeah, that's where I'll leave it for now. But yeah, it was. I don't know why they started off with. I don't know why they decided to use Rascal Randy as the first spin-off mini, but it's what we have.
It is what it is. I mean, Dylan Burnett's, like you said, a good artist. So
yes,
I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
I just want fucking see. Maybe I'm a simple man with simple pleasures. I just want a tournament. I want an Exquisite course.
Yeah, have you fine with that too?
Tournament each year. Just give me
that.
Just give me a new tournament.
Yep.
You can go give us flashbacks. Give us one set in the fucking Old West. Give us one whatever you want to do. Just give us like a fucking tournament where we don't know who's gonna win. We get involved with characters. But whatever. Yeah, all good.
Yeah,
all gooch.
Nice.
Right, Vince?
You want to
wait? Bummed, very bummed. You know, because Gabriel Hardman, longtime friend of the show, makes the majority of his living as a Hollywood storyboard artist and makes comics for comics are his passion. Storyboarding is his vocation. He has storyboarded some amazing films, including many of Christopher Nolan's films.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering after I saw the Odyssey, I was like, I wonder if our boo Hardman did the storyboards for the Odyssey. He in fact did not, but he had a good reason. He was busy doing the storyboards for Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg's last film. So yeah, but yes. And interesting, if you go way back, probably like 10 years, when we had Gabriel on the show once talking about storyboarding, I think we asked him, hey, do you have and would you ever sell your storyboards? And he scoffed at us at the time. Scoffed, I say.
He did.
He was like, no one would want those. And now guess what you can buy online?
Oh, Jesus.
Gabriel Hardman storyboards.
They're not comics, though.
Right? They're not comics, Vince. They're not comics.
Yeah.
Yes, they are sequential stories, but they're not comics.
They bullshit. They're comics.
Again, for those that don't know what we're talking about, when we were talking with Gabe like a decade ago, Vince made the point that it was pretty much storyboarding and comics are the same, and for some reason Gabriel didn't agree, but which is weird. It's weird for a guy that does both to not agree, like. Because you weren't saying it in any pejorative way. It was a weird thing. It was very strange.
I wasn't.
We've had some weird moments over our lives, like the fucking world building. Like, there's like moments where you're like, yes. You guys need to fucking relax. Can y'all just relax?
It's just comics.
Really? Yeah.
Just fucking relax, y'all. Like, we're trying to glaze you. We're trying to compliment your artistry, and you're like, You're like getting it twisted.
It's a different language, though.
It really is.
Yeah. Comics should be ridiculous, right? And I have in front of me a very, very ridiculous tome. It is the
What are you
Atlas.
talking about?
Yeah, the Atlas Comic Library, Volume 9, which is Adventures into Weird Worlds. Now, it was the early 50s, so signing the work was not a thing. In fact, artists had to be very coy about their signatures if they chose to sign a splash page, where the writing is even more difficult because unless a writer specifically noted that they did the work, it's up to the historians and the archivists to determine who wrote what. So when I say written on art by, it's because the writing and mostly the art, and the art is not credited. But historians have done their due diligence, and this volume is written and art by Ogden Whitney, George Tuska, Werner Roth, Joe Sinnott, Joe Russo, Joe Manili, Stan, who probably paid an intern to type something up real quick and put his name on it, and Hy Rosen, John Tartaglione, Russ Heath, Carmine Infantino, Bernie Kriegstein, Bill Everett, Al Hartley, Bob Fujitani, Myron Fass, Dick Ayers, Saul Brodsky, and others. Like, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The others, you probably, the majority of you listening to my voice right now, probably never heard of the others, but that should not stop you from buying this book. This book is capital A, amazing, right? After a long intro by Dr. Michael J. Vassallo, who did a bunch of intros into the Marvel Masterworks and other books. He's a timely and Atlas historian. He's an author, and he's a dentist. So there's that. But what I want to talk about is it presents the Weird Worlds, Adventures into Weird Worlds 1 to 10, dated January to September 1952. But what I really want to talk about is one story. Just one. In issue 2, there's a story called When a World Goes Mad! Exclamation point, which is drawn by Al Hartley. And it's a very simple tale. This professor is addressing his physics class, and apparently he has the dumbest kids in the entire school district because he's teaching them Einstein's theory of relativity, right? And he uses the examples of a flea and a cat. To us humans, a cat is a small thing, right? Cat, even a big cat, is relatively small, right? But to the flea, the cat is a massive monster. Like, it is gigantic. The class just doesn't get it. They're stupid. But so the professor, in frustration, comes up with another example. A creature as large as the universe is taking a million-year nap, right? Near the Earth. How we haven't noticed it is not the point. The point is it's gigantic. It's unbelievably big. And it's taking a nap next to the Earth, right? It's hit by a meteor. and it screams, "Ah!" causing massive, devastating destruction planet-wide. Like it, the place is a shambles. Um, in anger, it gets pissed off because it's woken up by a meteor. A meteor's hot, right? It mistakenly knocks Saturn out of the universe. That's how big this thing is, right? Again, how we haven't seen it is beside me, but it's awake now and it's hungry. It eats the moon like a lemon drop. It's still hungry, right? What the hell? It tries to eat the sun, and all it gets for its efforts is an incinerated planet Earth and a burnt moth. So what does it do? Well, the Earth has lots of water, right? It should. It wasn't incinerated, but it should have a lot of water. It takes the Earth in its hand and it spins it so all of the water drops into its mouth. It eats the Earth, but something else is hungry. It's all about perspective, right? There's an O. Henry kind of ending to it, but the class still doesn't get it. Like the professor, I think, did an exemplary job of trying to show perspective to the students, and they still don't understand, but they will, because something happens at the end. I love this volume. I cannot pick. That was my favorite story, only because it's so ridiculous. When you see the giant, shaggy, disgusting thing grab the earth and drink it like a popsicle, it's funny to me. Whereas most of the stories are funny. I know they weren't intended to be, but when you have Russ Heath and Brendan Creeksteen, among others, illustrating a story, who cares if it's funny or not? It's Creeksteen and Heath and Infantino and Everett. Like, these are some of the biggest names ever, right? It is just, I'm so happy that Fantagraphics is doing these books. I am going to skip number 10 because the focus is sports. Not strange sports, just plain sports. And even though the cast list is as vibrant as this, it is still sports. Like, it's going to be a chore for me to read it. Whereas this one, the Alice Comic Library, Volume 9, Adventures into Weird Worlds, was chef's kiss. So good. Go, Ron. It's a massive tome, too. Go get it. Hardcover. Yeah.
Got to get it.
I wouldn't read it digitally. Nope. Not going to do it.
Can't do it. You can't do it.
No. But because the presentation is so nice. Like, to read a digital version of it would... No, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And some behind the scenes regarding the CGN specials. I did see that. Well, I saw your list earlier this week, Vince, so I knew what you had planned. And when I saw this week's list on CGN's site, and I knew which ones I was playing around with, which ones I was going to mention here or post on the Slack, knowing you were going to talk about it, I didn't want to. It could have been some foreshadowing, or could have segued into it. But knowing you were going to talk about it, I figured we could spotlight a different book, since you were still going to be able to give this one a shine.
Yeah, it's so good. How much is it at cheap graphic novels? 35?
It is. Oh shoot, where did I just had it. It is the Atlas Comics Library, $33.74.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's less than. Yeah, that's cheap. Because I think the list is $49.99.
I think you're right.
It's over there. I'm not about to
No.
take it up.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's worth that and more.
Yeah, there are. I mean, some of the stories, 5 pages, but I mean, you get a ton in this book.
Oh yeah, they're all short. You're all short. But I think the longest is 8 pages. You get some text pages. You get some. Oh my God! I have a pimple. I'm losing my hair. It's just ear to ear smile. Yes, it made me smile.
That's what's up.
yeah,
That's the sign. That's the sign of that's the sign of a good book. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah. You try and take it. I will devastate, bodily harm the not you, but somebody who tries to take this book from me.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yep. Jason has nothing to worry about.
It's true.
Derp.
Yep.
Derp.
Tell us. Don't leave us hanging. What are you loving?
Bro, shout out to another friend of the show and an incredible comic creator in his own right, Mr. Brandon Graham. Brandon put me on this. I appreciate it. I appreciate him for doing so. Brandon is, aside from being a great creator, he's always been good about telling the world about stuff that he's enjoying, which I love. I wish more artists and creators did that. But yeah, he put me on this. It's called Stimulus, and it is I mean, spoilers. It's gonna win. Well, if we still did the 11 o'clock scores the way we used to, it would be my favorite anthology for the year, almost assuredly. It's obviously we don't do the categories anymore, but it's definitely going to be in the running for one of my 10 spots. It is published through Dark Horse. All the stories are written by Daniel Friedman. Now, I was familiar with Daniel's work.
Yeah.
What's that?
No,
What?
I saw. I didn't pick it up, but I did. I did. I wanted to check it out, but please continue.
Yeah, Friedman I know from the awesome graphic novel Kali, which came out a few years ago, which was this incredible like sci-fi, shoot 'em up action graphic novel that he wrote that with his badass femme fatale heroine. But I hadn't really thought about him or heard his name in a while, and like I said, this is an anthology. It is all sci-fi focused. And like sci-fi in the Blade Runner, Evangelion, Metal Hurlant kind of vibe. So that sort of dark, more seedy type of sci-fi. But it's each story is accompanied by a different artist. After I finished reading it in the epilogue, he explains that this is actually a project he's been working on for over a decade, while he was doing other comics, because he would have ideas for stories, eventually collaborate with them, but he didn't know quite what to do with them, and he eventually compiled them all into this, which became this book, Stimulus. It's just a masterful, man. I'll read you some of the artists involved. Robert Samlin, Stefano Raldini, Filia Bertukin, which I know Vince is a big fan of, Lorenzo Nudi, Ariana Faricella, Enrique Salstrom, Dan Morrison, Amilcar Pina, Dil Rahman, Gavin Diaz, Debbie Soy, and Tom Coker, which is nice to see, aka Black Monday Murders, Tom Coker. It's just like, it's one of those anthologies where I always say that, for me, a good anthology doesn't have to be 100% hit rate, right? Like, there can be stories that you aren't quite vibing on, some that you think are okay but aren't great, and then some that are great. I never go in expecting an anthology to be all great stories that hit with you, because it's kind of like the nature of the construct. Since it's all different creators, it's very hard to expect that you'd really connect with all the stories. But that said, I have to say this has come the closest, at least in recent years for me, where pretty much every story hit for me. they all have a little bit of like a Black Mirror vibe, you know, like a little bit of a bittersweet to bitter conclusion. But I'm here for it, dude. Like I said, I thought it was great. I don't want to go into the plot points of any of the individual stories because I think that's really the joy of reading it. But I will say that it is exceedingly rare for me to read an anthology, and I'm a huge fan of anthologies. I think they're a great format. I wish we had more of them. But it is exceedingly rare for me to read an anthology with 12 different stories where I thought all 12 were worthwhile. And so, salute to Brandon for putting me on this. Salute to Daniel Friedman for compiling this over 10 years. Salute to all of his artistic partners for doing their damnedest to make his ideas come to life. And if you are in any way a fan of sci-fi, I think you will really get a lot from this book. And it is a trade paperback. It's a soft cover, so it's not even that pricey. It is, let's see here, $22.99 is the cover price. So probably get it at CGN for like, what, 14, 15 bucks?
Yep.
But highly recommended. Super fun read. Visual masterpiece on quite a few of the stories. And even where the art didn't like blow me away, I thought it was quite good relative to the subject matter. So just a joy and a surprise. This was not on my radar in any way, shape, or form until I saw Brandon say, "Hey y'all, if you want to check out a cool anthology, check this out." So yeah, so that's super fun. Isn't it fun when you just kind of like stumble upon a comic, right? You don't really.
Yes, it is.
Like, and this definitely fits in that category. So if you are into sci-fi, then check out Stimulus.
$16.09.
Okay.
That's nothing.
Treat yourself with some of them credits you have. Grab, put that in your next order.
I have plans.
Right? Yeah, so do I.
I don't know what that means.
With his credits.
Let's break it down. I got a box from them 2 days ago.
Oh, meaning your money's already spent, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, for the next hopefully 2 or 3 months, my money is already spent. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sucks. So many comics, so little time.
That is true.
There's so much I want to read now, even more than ever. But you'll have that. That's a problem that we. It's not a problem. Like too many comics, not a problem. It's just that finding the time to read them all is tough.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, don't leave us waiting. Tell us about some comics.
I just told you about a comic, dog.
Not you.
Oh my god.
You are you're done. You're getaway.
Lord.
Jesus.
There's a so there were a couple of advanced reader copies sent our way from our friend Kyle, formerly of Silver Sprocket. One of them is a pretty quick, pretty shortish read. It is by Jesse Rimler. It's called Stay, and it's. I need to find something happy to read about. There's a this particular story is a Wanda is her name. She her since her mother has died, Wanda's been kind of just going through the motions, kind of having a wayward life, not doing well, just getting by. So her sister asks her to dog sit, come over, and watch the family dog, and Wanda's willing to because she knows she's been absent and not in their lives and distant. So she figures it's a way to begin to make peace, and and she there are rules. Listen, don't this is what the pup is used to. They there's a and so Wanda's nephew is playing fetch with the dog, and it's they're playing fetch with rocks, not massive boulders or anything, but she'll toss a rock, the dog will run after it, bring the rock back. But Wanda's like, listen, why doesn't she use like a tennis ball or anything like that? And no, she likes the rock, so she's all right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a pine cone, and that's a dud. Like she tosses the pine cone. The dog's just like, there's just listen. That's not. Yeah, I don't give a shit about a pine cone. Wanda's sister breaks down all the breakdown as far as the foods and the snacks, and basically sets her up like she can't fail. Like this is the easiest. This is gonna be like the easiest weekend of your life. Like this is all you got to do. And just please do not leave the dog alone for too long. Like she'll cry. Just don't do it. So she's like, oh no, that's fine. I got that. And so Wanda's gonna take this time to kind of just make amends with her sister Nikki, and but Nikki's not ready. She's not here for it. So it's not exactly it's kind of a tense situation until Nikki leaves, and then it's just Wanda and the pup, and so the dog's name is Frida. So Frida's just like following Wanda around the house. They're just they're nearly inseparable at the start. Wanda's thinking about her mom because mom was, when she was dying, she was living upstairs. So she's just trying to. There's a lot of feelings. She's feeling a little overwhelmed, and she's also thinking about the last time she was kind of like she saw her mom and the conversation she had with her sister. Unfortunately, there's a moment where Wanda's a little distracted, and so she's playing fetch with Frida, and so she tosses the rock, but Frida, normally you'll toss the rock and then Frida runs after it. This time, because she was distracted by birds in a tree, she lobs the rock up in the air, but Frida was already standing where the rock was going to land instead of next to her to run after it and bonks the dog on the head. This was the part where I was pretty much done with this book. I was like, you know what, Kyle? I'm just going to say Jesse seems like a
I was
cool
reading
creator.
This book thinking, ain't no way Dap's reading this book.
I got to this page, and I was just, and then the fucking dog shaking, like it. Dog's a little wobbly
she
at first.
threw a giant rock at the dog's head, dog. Like I was
fucking,
like, all right, this. I was like, I'm out. I'm like, I think I'm out too. I was like, I don't know. Like this is crazy. I like. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. But
no.
You're literally, I saw that page and I thought, ain't no way Dap's continuing this story.
I put the book down. I closed the iPad. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back. I might come back, but I'm done. I'm like, I'm good for now. And then yeah, sometime over the weekend, I was cleaning things up, and I was just like, all right, let me see what happens, because I can't. Reading the back of it and how it's like, darkly funny and this, I'm like, all right, so there's got to be some comedy in here somewhere. Then like I mean I'm cool with dark humor. I love, I can speak a little bit.
Now,
dead,
it was like her nephew that she fucking hit in the head.
Absolutely.
Like,
hey,
then she hit her nephew in the head with a rock.
That sucks, kid. You should have been looking. But so yeah, so now Wanda's freaking out. Dog seems to be fine. Keep an eye on her, make sure everything is fine when you get home. But the dog is staring out the window on the car ride home, and Wanda's just like, you're fine, Frida. It's okay. It's nothing permanent. Let's just keep this between you and me. And she goes to reach for the dog to pet the dog on the head. And Frida turns around and says, don't touch me, which freaks Wanda the fuck out. And so they get home, and Wanda's still just like not sure what the hell's going on. And she's just like, Frida? And Frida's like, oh, you were in so much trouble. Like, you just... And so now Wanda's losing. She's like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what's going on here. So she's about to call the animal hospital, and she's like, yeah, I was just there with the family dog Frida, and realizing what the hell she's gonna say. The dog's talking to me and is pissed because like I hit it in the head with like so she's just like, yeah, you know what, never mind. Hangs up the phone, and she's just like, there's got to be and now she's looking around the house to, like, for something to drink because she's got a problem, and then she sees Frida with her leash. And Frida's like, at 6 o'clock, it's time for the walk. And all while they're on this walk, the dog is just like, what a joke. A weekend with the family fuck up. I've heard all about your nonsense. You're too old to be bar backing with dropouts who score and like just ripping in to Wanda. Like, and Wanda's just like beside herself. She's freaking out. She's just like, anyway, you just, you keep fucking up. And you're gonna find out. Like Nikki's extending the olive branch for you here with this weekend, but like you keep fucking up, and I don't know what the hell. And so they're not exactly really getting along too well. But they TLDR, Wanda goes out of her way to after hitting rock bottom. And no pun intended with the rock, but I mean, she needs some space for Frida for a little while, and Frida gets out of the house, and then she's looking for Frida, and then Frida gets it's a wild ride between these two, but Nikki, the family come home after, of course, Frida had wrecked the house because Wanda stepped out for a little too long, and Wanda spent most of the last day before Nikki comes home, cleaning the house, plastering the wall where it needed to be, just taking care of everything, and yeah, it's when you get to the end of the story, I'm not going to say if things make sense to you, but it's it does. They do. There's a funny moment where Wanda has to. It's a birthday party, and Wanda forgot to bring the candles for the cake, so she runs out to the corner store, and she's looking at she stops and she looks at the wine on the shelves, and then all of a sudden you hear from off panel, go, and she turns around and it's a bodega cat, and the cat's just like, leave now, and she beats feet out of the store and comes back with the candles. But yeah, it's a crazy story, man, and so yeah, it's from Jesse Rimler. It was and of course I love when they do this in the back. This book was drawn on printer paper with a Pentel color brush, Pentel rolling writer, and Pilot Precise V5. But it is it's an interesting story, and it's from Field Mouse Press. So shout out to Kyle for the hookup. But yeah, this was not, it was weird. I didn't know what to expect, because even in the email when Kyle's like, hey, you interested in checking this out? And I was like, sure. And I read the write up, and like I see the dog, and like I didn't know what to expect, obviously. But yeah, I get a handful of pages in, and I see the dog get bonked on the head with a rock, and I was just like, really, Kyle? Like, this is, thought you knew me. But okay. What did you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think you encapsulated it well. I mean, I would say of the three that Kyle shared with us, this was the most complete story. Like, I think from a narrative point, like this was the one that actually read like a fully formed story. I guess I appreciated the craft of it. Like, I liked Jesse's illustration style. Like, it's very, very simple line work, but I thought it worked well.
It's almost like a New Yorker cartoon.
Yeah. Like, and I thought it was effective. Like, I'm a fan of minimalist illustration, and I thought that was like, so I thought it was effective. Like you, I'm glad it didn't take a darker turn. That would have really put me off on this. Like, I would have been blown it up and been like, what's the point of the story? But, if I'm being honest, I mean, I have my own personal baggage with people with substance abuse issues.
Sure.
And so, like, I don't find characters like her to be easy for me to find sympathy with or to root for or to, like, give second chances to.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much viewed her in the worst possible light from jump, and nothing she really did, including the risky business, last second cleanup of the house, really like won me over. I mean, I guess I'm glad that in the story she seems to have managed to stay clean for some period of time, but like, I guess again, personal baggage being what it is, I assume she's just a minute away from fucking ruining her life again.
Yeah.
So, like, it just wasn't a story that really connected in my heart in any way. But, like, I think putting my personal feelings about the subject matter aside, I think it was a well-executed story. And it was done in a way that I'm interested in seeing what Jesse has in store in the future. Like, I will say that of the 3 books that we were provided, the creators, being Jesse with this one, Jesse Rimler, Medita Schwenke with The Tale of Two Travelers, and Tingu, which I assume is a nom de guerre, but nevertheless it's what we have to go on here. Tingu, T-I-N-G-U, with the cannibals. I thought with all 3, like the through line for me was that there's enough with each of these that interests me to make me curious about what you have next up your sleeve, like what you're going to be once you kind of are a fully formed comic book storyteller. But I thought that the other 2, like I said, were interesting in their own ways, but didn't feel as fully formed of a completely successful comic to me. So, kind of like how I felt about the movie Backrooms, like, I'm not going to sell anybody on the idea that Backrooms is some masterful narrative cinema experience where you're going to watch it and then be like, holy shit, what a great movie. But there was so much in the craft of making the movie that turned me on and made me think, oh my God, like, he's going to make greatness in his career, and I can't wait to be a part of that. I kind of felt that way about these books. Like, I was like, oh, all 3 creators showed me enough in these books where I thought, oh, they have promising careers ahead of them if they want to. But I don't know that any of them individually, specifically to these 3, connected with me in a way that I'm like, oh, those were amazing comics. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like I see the roots of what could be really interesting careers here, but I feel like we're seeing them in the early parts of their metamorphosis into being like fully accomplished creators.
That tracks. I get that.
I will say I love the way that Tingu draws, and I love the idea of sapphic vampires. Yeah. So, you give me sapphic vampires, and I'm like, I'm pretty much not going to, like, knock you. So, like, that was an interesting one. Also, you give me a sapphic vampire who's addicted to the Peloton, and it's like, oh, is this my is this my next wife? If I survive Beth, is this my next wife? But and there was legit hardcore sex in it too, which I'm a fan of. So like, yep. There was a lot I liked in that book. I thought the narrative really kind of struggled. I wasn't quite sure like what was going on or what the point of the whole thing was. But I very much liked the illustration style, and I liked a lot of the themes that they were playing with. So that one worked for me. The Tale of Two Travelers was the one probably for me least successful. That was a very minimalist artistic style, and I don't think it's like in any way bad, but it was like very minimal to the point where I couldn't quite find my way to caring about what happens to the 2 characters. Like, I couldn't quite, like, I didn't have any emotional connection to the travails of these 2 travelers, and so that one left me a little bit empty versus the other 2. But I really do thank Kyle for continuing to provide us with books that we otherwise wouldn't come across.
Yeah, for sure. He is really good at that. The Cannibals was it was shorter than I thought it was going to be, and then we get we get hit with some back matter, which kind of fills in some gaps if anybody is anybody may not have been aware of things like there's some Easter eggs and talks about influences, things like that. There's a points of reference. It's almost like half the book is just is almost like back matter and how things came to be with it. But even that, just little sketches here and there, and pinups. I thought the Cannibals was. It almost feels like an art book. It looks
sexy as hell. I mean, super sexy.
It is also from Field Mouse Press.
Well, I assume Kyle's working for Field Mouse Press now, right? Like, I assume that's the.
I think they're. Yeah, but I feel like they're part of they're a smaller part of a larger group because I don't think his email addresses are from Field Mouse. But anyway, TINGUU. I've started following him on Instagram, but it's Cannibals is a great looking book. It's set in the future. There's a as Jason said, there's vampires, there's sex. There's a lot of play with some color, but and I kind of like the comeuppance or the reversal. It was a cool story. I did not finish Tale of Two Travelers yet. That, of course, is based on the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. So if you're familiar with that, you'll kind of know what to expect there. And yeah, that mostly feels like drawn with charcoal, and they get creative with the way, kind of like Terry Moore. If you know if a man or a woman is speaking based on the shape of the word balloon, this is they use a different style of lettering, whether it's the tailor or the shoemaker or a minor character. So it's clever in that way. But yeah, I mean, you summed it up the way Kyle is sending us things that we would have either not seen in the Final Phase catalog or wouldn't have even been solicited in it. So massive props. Definitely.
I'm looking on LinkedIn now. So Kyle is a freelance comic publicist. He's got a shoot job too, working for the Architectural Institute. But yeah. So it looks like he's paying the bills with a gig at the Architectural Institute, and because he is passionate about comics, is doing freelance publicity for smaller press publishers, which is awesome. And then looking at Field Mouse, I didn't realize they're a nonprofit, but they've been around since 2019. They've been the publishers of Soul Rad, which is that incredible literary magazine that wins all the Eisners. So I guess now they're branching off into doing some comics publishing as well. So that's super cool. Yeah. So shout out to Field Mouse Press. Shout out to Kyle Belita for always keeping us in mind. He's been he's in all of his many jobs, he has always hooked us up. So
absolutely.
There you go.
Vince.
You know what's funny to me? I have to say, there was a time when the comics that we just talked about that would have been the comics that Vince talked about, and we were like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know. Yeah,
and now Vince is like, let me tell you about PKJ Superman.
Yeah, I'll talk about it in my travels. They might as well, if it's a digital book, they might as well leave my name off the email. Just do yourself a favor. Don't send me digital stuff, because I won't read it. I won't.
That's crazy.
It's cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Sponsor this show, and you will find the stuff that you want for far below retail. Leave us a review on wherever you listen to this, whether it's words or a star or both. Please, it matters. And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. 3 tiers, $1, $5, $10. Easy peasy. Some things bother me.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we're calling a omnibus edition Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson. When Philip Kennedy Johnson writes at least half, but not much more than the stuff that's in the book is a misnomer to me. But suffice to say, this is called Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson, written by PKJ. Becky Cloonan did some work. Brendan Easton, Jeremy Adams, Michael W. Conrad, Grant Morrison, etc. Art by Scott Godlewski. We know Scott. Michael Avon Oming, Mikael Yeninen, Valentin Delendro, Sia Phil Hester, Eric Capster, Nor Rappin, Gabe Eltab, Taki Soma, Vico Ossio, Trevor Foreman, Evan Kakel. Like, there's a lot of people in this book. Covered by, of course, Jordie Bellaire, Melissa Louise, Hi-Fi, etc. I'm going to focus, for the most part, on the PKJ stuff because the future state work that he did, I thought going to Warworld was going back to the well, so to speak. Warworld again, thrilling, but it's more than that because I did not get Jonathan Kent at first. I thought, okay, DC is perpetuating their IP, specifically Superboy with Jonathan, where they have to have a Superboy because for legal reasons, but the IP being most important. But I was wrong. This volume convinced me that Jonathan exists to make Superman more super, where he comes off. There's a part where a breach opens in space, and Superman can get hurt by the creatures spewing through the breach, but Jonathan cannot. And I would take every comic DC publishes where the main villain is Darkseid, or Ra's al Ghul, or even God, the Caveman. I wouldn't say his name, but as opposed to one panel of Amanda Waller. I hate Amanda Waller because she's so good at what she does, but she's so convinced that she's right. She is the one who keeps opening the breach, and she's doing it to gauge Superman and his ability to withstand pain. Like, where does Superman end and Jonathan begin? And Superman says to the kid, "You are so much better than this than I was at your age. Not, I'm your father. I know what's right. I've been Superman for X amount of years." Like, no, you're so much better than me. And it's just to be Superman and to say that convinced me that Jonathan exists, yes, to tell good stories, but to make Superman more human, more, because he's an alien at its core. He's an alien, but the fact that he thinks his son is better than he is incredible to me. Like, it literally took that one line that I understand now. I get it. Jonathan is not the kid that hung around with Damien in the Tomasi run. Like, that was good, but Damien is a little shit, and Jonathan is puppy dog and light. And, like, you need the two of them to bounce off each other. I get it. I understand that. But it evolved where I'm told Bendis took Jonathan and had a new Legion or a new old Legion, and it didn't last for too long. And I didn't read it, but in between the time, Jonathan had aged, and Clark and what was robbed of the time that he grew up. Like, Jonathan came back to Earth in his teens.
Teenager. Yep.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me that Dad thinks that Jonathan is better, stronger, more powerful, faster, able to withstand more pain, able to shrug off things that would hurt Superman. And there's a whole thing about Jonathan saying, "Don't call me Superman." I kind of hate it because I'm not Superman. No, you kind of are. Because if Dad says you are better than he, and this is coming for Superman, I think you should listen to your father. There's a long Midnighter story where I won't spoil it, but I think it's written by Becky Cloonan. Where Midnighter is a time traveler. He has the brain of Andrei Trojan, the pun intended, CEO of Trojan Solutions, stuck in his head. Like, his supercomputer is on the fritz. And there's a spoiler involving the supercomputer that I won't, leave it the way it is. But the Black Racer appears, but not the Black Racer we know. This one's called Tanda, and she has resurrection powers. And she is looking at this alternative kryptonite called neurodium, and Mr. Miracle is in it. Not the Mr. Miracle that Tom King, not the bard, this is Shiloh. And Mongol, of course, Warworld, Mongol, the son of Mongol is in it. And the son of Superman is in it too, with the future state stuff. But not Jonathan. I'll leave it at that. It was worth it reading this entire omnibus edition where just for that one line. Like, you're so much better than this at me. Like, this is coming for Superman. That great.
But it speaks to how many parents and dad, like how how we see our children or what we aspire to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Superman wouldn't say, knowing Superman, knowing Clark, knowing Gal, he wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.
Fair.
Right.
Right. He prides himself, which is the future state stuff gets really crazy. Like, Manchester Black is in it. PKJ had a run on Action or Superman, I forget which one, but Manchester Black, whom Superman hates as much as Superman can hate another living soul, but he uses them to get a band together. And I won't tell you, it's more Midnighter and Apollo, but I won't tell you the rest of them because I'll make it a surprise for you. But I thought this find was great. Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson and others. They should have tacked on the and others.
I mean, I agree with you. Yes. Unlike the Kelly Jones Deadman that came out this week. I mean, that's art by Kelly Jones, and yes, Mike Barron and Tim Seeley might be your writers, but at least they got the right creator on the cover mentioning it. But I get the idea behind this because post Bendis, PKJ wrote both Superman titles for a spell until the War World stuff, and then he was just writing Action Comics. But because he started with the Future State stuff, and it all kind of tied in from that, and it was probably his idea, even though the Superman and the Authority miniseries is included in this collection, and that of course is written by Grant.
It sucks.
I wasn't impressed with that miniseries. It wasn't good.
It's really bad. Yeah.
It's but obviously that was created. That miniseries was meant to tie into the War World stuff. So PKJ probably had a hand or was pulling some threads here and there. So I mean, I get why it's his collection. But yes, you're right. It should be by PKJ and friends.
But the Grant Morrison, the art is by Mikael Janin.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The art's great.
Yes.
The story, after a while, it's like, stop with the jargon. Please stop. Like, it's an older Superman. He's busted. He can't lift or withstand forces like he used to. So he uses Manchester Black to get the band together. And after a while, it's like, oh, please stop. Please.
It's funny. It's you reminded me of when your closest friends will tell you, yo, she ain't right for you. She's gonna step out on you. She's been with all the guys, and you're like, no, man, I love her. It's my girl. She's one for me. We're gonna be together forever. And they keep telling you, no, she's not right. She's gonna break your heart, and you don't listen until that one random person says, yeah, I don't think you should be together. And you're like, hey, I think you're right. That's what I just heard when you were talking about how great John is. Because no matter how many years I've been saying, now all of a sudden, because Superman tells you John's the best thing next to me, then
no offense, you're not Superman. Yeah, I love you.
None taken, my friend.
Yeah. If Clark tells me, then it's got to be 100%.
Well, right, because
true.
I mean, and also you can also kind of believe it because yes, not just because Superman is saying this, but because Superman he is the best of Clark and Lois. Like there's not like you can't. I mean, Clark he's just Clark is just one person. He's on his own. Yes, he was raised by the Kents and he knows right from wrong, but he's still just that one person. Because it's not like he knew his biological parents all that well initially. So for Jonathan to be born and based on who his parents are, I mean, he comes from good stock. There's no doubt about it.
There's one part that absolutely killed me. That Grandpa Kent falls off a ladder and Clark sees him. And it's like Clark tries to make it like it was windy or you weren't looking or you're trying to fix a problem. And it's like Pa Kent was just like, no, I was stupid. Like, don't make the same mistakes that I made. I was dumb. And it's just like he's passing it on. Whereas Jonathan, whom I admit I saw as an annoyance before. Mm-hmm. Maybe I should reread those stories.
I mean, obviously, yes. You don't. You by all means, you can completely, and you would anyway. You wouldn't. Even if I were to implore you to read it, I know you wouldn't. But I'm going to tell you, you can just go ahead and ignore the Legion stuff. But yes, the while I did feel some kind of way about Bendis taking young John off the board.
Well, they're making up for it now.
Well, no, yes, they are. But it was, I mean, the way Bendis because John got to go basically on a field trip, got to spend time with Grandpa, and that's when the bad things happened. And I'm not going to explain that whole run, but yeah, I think because even later on, even the spin-off miniseries and things like that, and I mean they've really fleshed John out over the years, especially post Bendis. I mean, Bendis had fun with the character and got to talk about the entire family and the supporting cast, and those were great stories. But seeing what other creators have done, like Tom Taylor, I mean, seeing what everybody's done with John since then, it's just been getting better and better. It's
One, I take your opinion as gospel. Two, I won't read a Bendis pen book. So the fact that you encapsulated the run perfectly for me is enough.
good.
Yeah. In your travels, read Superman by Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Yes,
It's a massive book.
I concur. Should they got those issues? I want to read out. Like I want to reread that when I have tons of shit that I haven't read yet. But two things real quick, just first, because I really, really, really like the art, even if I wasn't really keen on the story. Because why the hell am I reading a Clayface comic? But Fran Galán is the artist on Clayface Celebrity Dirt, and Jude Ellison as say again.
I said say less.
Yeah, I mean it's not that I
It's
care about
so funny.
Clayface really. It's a funky setup. Jude Ellison as Doyle is your writer, but the art's fantastic. I mean, we last saw him on Merrimack and Pine, and this was it's such a beautiful looking book. But yeah, I might wait until the rest of the miniseries finishes to read the rest. But I thought it was a solid first issue. But yeah, the main thing, and not that we're going to spoil it or get too far into it, because what I really loved about this miniseries is the front and back matter, with the editorial at the start of the issue and the house ads and the discussions, the writings of how it came to be, how all the creators involved in Swamp Thing 1989 took to the project, whether it was Todd Klein working from John Costanza's lettering, or the colorist. It's just been the end of this mini series, and then of course Rick Veitch writes a nice long essay at the end of the fourth issue. But whether we were reading stories from Vince Locke or Trish Mulvihill or any of the creators involved, but there Tom Mandrake is your artist for issues 3 and 4. The Constantine is part of it, of course. There's even some Spectre. What I really appreciate about this miniseries is and I'm a little surprised that Veitch even brings it up as often as he does, but how often the Crisis is mentioned in this miniseries, and where Rick wants to take the characters, and how he wants to finish his story with what he was doing. It's a great little miniseries. Almost 40 years in the making for it to finally come out. I think I applaud DC for finally sacking up and publishing it, but that Rick was mature enough, didn't hold any grudges, and was able to tell the story he wanted to tell. without feeling some kind of way, because he mentions that back when he holds no animosity, no ill will towards anybody involved, towards Jeanette Kahn or Dick Giordano, anybody in management, because they were just doing what they had to do. And he realizes he could have probably handled it a little better back then, but hindsight and with age comes wisdom. So he was very it was very big of him to the way he explains how everything panned out. But yeah, seeing Arcane and just it, as somebody who is not the biggest Swamp Thing fan of the three of us, I really had fun with this miniseries. I thought it was great, and even because I only read a few of the Veitch issues here and there, and even the that DC Comics presents, where he got to dabble around with during this time as well. I was able to kind of just pick it up and have no problem. I didn't need to look up any of more stuff or the set in total been years. This was just I was content with, and there's a character who I thought I knew who he was, and yes, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see a character from way back in the day make an appearance and even have a conversation with Swamp Thing briefly. I'm just a little surprised, considering Army at Love and Brat Pack and Max Mortal and everything else the Veitch has done. Even the nonsensical 9/11 comic that he did. I'm happily surprised at how into mainstream DC this story. It wasn't just a standalone little Swamp Thing story. Like it's knee deep in the DC universe, and I'm a little, I don't know why, but I'm a little surprised that I don't think I was expecting that from Veitch, and I was happy to see it. But yeah, in your travels, these 4 issues will conclude the upcoming book 3 Rick Veitch Swamp Thing book that's solicited for later this year. So I'm sure these 4 issues will be in a standalone collection, but it will also be part of the last of the volume that wraps up Rick's Swamp Thing run that DC will be publishing later this year. But in your travels, Swamp Thing 1989 by Rick Veitch and friends from DC's Black Label.
There it is.
Before you move on, 2 things. One, I think the art on Clayface is incredible.
It is.
Fran Galán is awesome.
Yeah, it's just so good. 2, Veitch quit at that time. He quit because they wouldn't publish the story. Anything that he says now, it's just bullshit. He quit.
He did quit, that's true.
Yeah, it's what I would do myself. I would quit because I'm writing a standard Vertigo at the time, right? Vertigo Swamp Thing story that has been approved, but you don't want to publish it because you have a Batman movie coming out. I quit. I think he made the right choice.
He stood on principle, and I think it was the right decision.
I do too.
He says, I have nothing but deep respect for Jeanette Kahn and the rest of DC management who made the original call to cancel the book. They were doing their jobs in a pivotal time of change in the comic book publishing business. I definitely could have dealt with the situation in a more mature and diplomatic manner.
He's grown up now. Yeah,
it's bullshit.
Listen, we all have stances that we probably, as we get older, don't, would have done differently. It's just, that's part of life.
I mean,
but I think at that point, it's pretty fucking cool that he came back all these years later to fucking make it happen.
Well,
Like that's
they don't have anything to lose right now, so of course they're going to publish it.
well, I don't know about of course. I mean, like I mean, in the annals of comics history, there's tons of stories that never make it through. And then, as we talked about with the first issue, collectively, like more importantly, this was a fucking masterful story. Like I'm glad that it finally saw the light of day. Like I'm glad that whatever had to happen, however long it took, that all the powers that be and all the egos are put aside, and we've got these things in print now, and for all of us to see. And I mean, I won't go into any great detail because Dap already took care of his business with In Your Travels, but I thought it was fucking beautiful from start to finish. I love the whole thing. So,
and it begs the question: what was DC publishing at the time that rivals what Beach did? Nothing.
Yeah, I have to look. What years was it? I mean, I forget.
89.
89. Oh, right. 89.
Yeah, 89.
Yeah.
But give me a break. I think he is right to bury his head in the sand and think, okay, it's time. I'll be nice. I've been on ill will, but at the time, fuck it, I would quit.
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, Sandman, Doom Patrol, and Animal Man were all coming out at the same time, as was Arkham Asylum, Gotham by Gaslight. So the DC was doing all right. They were putting on good shit.
They were doing okay, but the Beach thing, come on, seriously.
I loved this, but I don't know that I'd say it's better than Sandman or Doom Patrol or Animal Man. So,
well, maybe not.
I'm just saying, like they were on a roll. Stuff. They were on a roll at the time.
Yeah. But it's well, it's splitting hairs. So whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean, in your travels, I'm gonna give you 2 non-comics things for when you feel like you need a little break from the comics. First of all, if you're one of the people who haven't seen it yet and you like movies, by God, you need to go see The Odyssey in the theater because it's fucking incredible and it is designed in all ways to be seen on a big screen. It was fantastic, and I'm going to see it for a second time tomorrow night. Fucking incredible, absolutely incredible. I had a long chat in the Slack about Christopher Nolan, and going into this film, I was like, I'm not sure I'm ready to say he's like a director of his generation, even though many people feel that way. But I had listen, you gotta give propers where propers are. And I walked out, I was like, all right, salute, like you did it again, like you're a beast. So that's that. But the thing that's absolutely just tickled me pink this last week. Is Dungeon Crawler Carl. Now, are you too familiar with this?
Yeah.
Familiar with the concept. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, I was familiar with the name. I know our slackers who have a very vibrant book club, which none of us participate in regularly, but almost everyone on the Slack does, other than us, had discussed these books. I don't know. I guess, honestly, I hadn't checked it out because I don't find the time often to read fiction prose much anymore, just because we read so many comics and stuff. But for some reason I gave it a try, and I fucking read the first 2 volumes. There's 8 books so far. I've read the first 2 books in the last week, and I adore this shit. This is the closest thing to Douglas Adams that we've had since Douglas passed away. It reminded me so much in tone and the wordsmithing and the pacing and the creativity and the zaniness of Adams. I mean, I hope if there is another world and afterlife, I hope he's somewhere laughing his ass off reading these books. I'm totally and completely smitten with these in a way I haven't from prose in a long, long time. And I think that they're just delightful. So, so I fully expect that I will just continue to plow through them. I'm going to Costa Rica in a few weeks. I'm planning on just reading the shit out of these while I'm there. But I am overjoyed with Dungeon Crawler Carl. For those that don't know what it is a science fiction-y fantasy series of books written by Matt Dinniman. It's actually a cool story. Matt was basically just like putting shit out on ebooks, like online with no traction. He put the first book out. It got like I think 5,000 copies sold, which isn't horrible like for a book, but like it's like pretty much very few people read it. But then it went after a couple were out, like it went viral during the pandemic, and the rest is history. I mean, it sold many, many millions of copies at this point. But I just think it's fantastic. Again, I say this all the time with comedy. Like, comedy is far more subjective than the other type of story. So what makes me laugh may make you completely turned off, and I fully respect that. But for me, this is exactly up my alley, and I feel like it's like reading Arthur Adams' illegitimate son telling stories of his own. So yeah, so in your travels, check out the Odyssey and Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Well, there you go. Please do our due diligence and say goodnight. What's his name again?
Davidoff.
I don't know if I could say that. So I just will say David.
Good night.
I think you're going a little long.
Yeah, it went way too long. Way too long.
David,
That bourbon barrel wine is hitting him.
you guys had whole conversations in that time. It was not
No,
too
we
long.
didn't.
No,
Yes,
we
you
did
did.
not.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Oh my
Incorrect.
god. Oh my god.
We love you.
Come back to tape. We love y'all.
Come back next time.
Yes, yes. Read books.
That's it for that one.